Okay, let's bring on our last guest or pair of guests of the day. We have come to the grand finale. For that, let's get on Brent Slava. All right, Brent, enough of the schmoozing, enough of the love fest. Who are you about to talk to?
Awesome. So we have a company called Nexo coming up next. It is co-founder and managing partner here, Antony Trenchev. Is he out there? Antony, how's it going, man? How's your day? Yes,
Very
sir.
well. How are you guys doing? Looking fantastic, so I presume you're doing fantastic.
Right back at you. How you doing, Spence? I'll let you answer.
Oh, yeah, look great, feel great. What can I say? What can I say? Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Anthony, for the compliment. All right,
Absolutely.
I'll let you guys get to it. I'll be back in a few minutes.
All right, thank you,
Sure.
sir. Yeah, let's jump right into it if you're cool with that, Antony. So, a question that I think has been interesting to hear from a lot of our sources that we've been talking to today is, what is the current state of the crypto market? Like, what inning are we in right now in the cryptocurrency market?
Well, the innings were nine in baseball. If I remember correctly, I would say we're
Yep.
about the second or third right now, and a lot of exciting stuff coming up, and a phenomenal past few innings. Bitcoin being the best performing asset of the past decade on. As a matter of fact, if you take the 1 year, the 3 year, the 5 year, the 10 year, this has always been the best performing asset. Out of that, we had Ethereum coming up with smart contracts, which was a huge innovation. And now we're slowly but surely seeing that institutional adoption, which will take the whole thing on a whole nother level because there is only that much that the crypto OGs and the tech geeks and the cyberpunks can do in
Sure.
order for this to reach the maturity that it deserves and to be taken seriously, whether it's a store of value, whether it's payments, whatever the use cases for crypto are. We got to have the institution come in to the space and the general maturing of the space. It is happening. You see everybody from Paul Tudor Jones to Stanley Druckenmiller, all the banks. I remember early on we had Jamie Dimon trash talking Bitcoin a few years ago. Now JP Morgan selling it to their wealthiest clients, and we know the banks, they take care of their 1% of the 1%. So
Right.
crypto is the place to be right now. I just see it from the influx of candidates that are approaching companies like Nexo in order to get
Sure.
exposure. Really a plethora of things to be excited about.
I mean, speak to that last point a little bit. I mean, what kinds of customers, what kind of sources have you been seeing getting hold of Nexo or, some of your peers in the space?
Right. Well, I remember like we started out almost 4 years ago, and it was such a difficult pitch,
Sure.
telling people about crypto. There were like limited resources you could educate yourselves
Sure.
on just what crypto is, what Bitcoin is all about. And now we see this influx of people proactively applying for the various open positions. We have close to 300 people. There's been like, I don't know, probably 200% growth in the last 12 months ago. And you see people, it's not just young people, millennials, Gen X, people who are approaching us and coming into the space. You see veterans from the banking sector making the shift to crypto, especially for the institutional offerings that we have at Nexo and that other companies are having. You see people from Deutsche Bank and Citibank leaving their jobs and just coming into crypto, which has been astounding to me. This was
Yeah.
very different just a year ago.
Certainly, certainly. So I want to learn a little bit more about Nexo here. So let's start from the bottom and describe crypto lending. I think we might have some audience members out there who aren't familiar with crypto lending. Give us like the quick elevator pitch on what happens in
Yeah,
crypto
it's
lending?
my bad. I talk about Nexo as if everybody should know what Nexo
No,
is. And,
no,
2
not at
million
all.
people already know because that's our customer base. The registered user just crossed the 2 million mark. But understandably, not everybody is in on the details. We at Nexo, we provide banking services for the blockchain space. We started off with loans, which is the bread and butter of our business, and we knew actually we were a for-profit organization, and that's where the bulk of the money is in the lending side of the business, and that's what we started off. Just the idea: you have a bunch of Bitcoin, let's say 100K worth of Bitcoin, you come to Nexo, you take out a loan against your Bitcoin securing your loan, and it's a flexible credit line. It increases when the value of Bitcoin increases, as it has historically done over the past 10 years. And it's efficiency at its finest, because you get to keep your Bitcoin, you profit from the prolonged bull market, and you tap into that liquidity that is within your crypto, so that you can hold on to it longer if you have even a financial need or a need of liquidity. You can tap into that, which allows you to hold it for longer periods. And out of the necessities of the business, we've grown our earn interest product, whereby you can earn up to 12% per year on your stable coins, on the fiat currencies, on a variety of different native assets. It's all paid in kind, meaning if you deposit Bitcoin, you get your interest in Bitcoin. If you deposit in Ethereum, you get it in Ethereum. You deposit in a stable coin emulating the dollar, you get the interest paid out daily. I don't think there's anybody in the world that pays out the interest, the annual interest on a daily basis broken down. So it's, a terrific offering. We have the internal exchange. I could go on, but I think these are the the three products that we are most famous for and that people are utilizing on a daily basis.
Gotcha. So, I mean, let's zoom out a little bit here. So, obviously, the blockchain is facilitating a lot of these transactions that Nexo customers are doing, correct?
Absolutely, spot on.
Okay, so you're a guy that has a unique position, I think, in a lot of this. What new applications of the blockchain are like your team getting excited about? You're getting excited about it right now.
Right. Well, obviously on our radar, NFTs, these are non-fungible tokens, just for the people who are not too well versed in, the terms.
Sure.
Fungible tokens are, Bitcoins, where one Bitcoin is exactly the same as the other Bitcoin. A dollar bill is the same, has the same value as the same nominal dollar bill, so they're interchangeable. Non-fungible tokens are unique in their characteristics, so no two are alike, and this is like art can be brought onto the blockchain and be a non-fungible token, and this is like an entire new world that has got us excited about this past 6 months. And quite frankly, we're still learning about certain aspects, because the implications are mind-blowing. There are
Right.
virtual realities being built out there where fungible tokens, they open doors to new worlds, and just like the ramification of this is mind-boggling, and it takes a while to get your head wrapped around that. This has
Absolutely.
gotten some people terribly excited. I personally am very excited about the tokenization of the world. This has been, in the works for quite some time now. This notion that anything, whether it's a building, whether it's a piece of art, can be tokenized and brought on chain to be traded in a fractional manner. You could have the Mona Lisa broken down into tiny little tokens and allow collective ownership and redistribution of wealth in an entirely new manner, whereby we can be more inclusive of the people who don't have the privilege of living out in the West as we do. Just like it's a fountain of innovation and possibilities here that got me and the team personally very excited.
That's amazing. So I think that when when new people are learning about NFTs, non-fungible tokens, the kind of example is like art, right? Like
Yeah.
that's kind of just some of the first things that were NFTs, and that's what a lot of people are talking about right now. But you know, there's a case to be made for you know, having certain kinds of personal data that would be some kind of token, correct? Is that something that you guys are starting to get excited about? Like, for example, insurance, I guess. I've heard one, you know, where your sort of personal insurance data could be created some kind of token. Is this something that Nexo is, you know, considering keeping on the radar?
Yeah, well, we're examining all the opportunities all the time, like immediately in the next 6 to 12 months. I don't see how we can be super useful on that front. We are
Sure.
predominantly a financial institution. So for us, you know, we are in the lending business, and there has to be certain aspects for an asset class to be either taken as collateral or have the ability to earn interest on. So, you know,
Right.
these use cases that you described, they're not immediately on the radar. They might be further down the line, you know, once we figure out ways to monetize that, once we figure out
Sure.
revenue streams, once we figure out how to properly value and have an effective secondary market for that. That's when we as Nexo, like company, would be
Yeah.
interested in, you know, developing solutions for that. But just on a personal note, I find this terribly interesting and innovative, and it's got me personally excited.
That's good to hear. Is there a next thing after NFTs that you would get on our audience's radar right now? Like, what does, you know, you were just kind of hinting a little bit there. I mean, what does blockchain in 5 years look like? Does it resemble anything that it does
Yeah.
today, do you think?
Yeah, if we had a crystal ball, you know, we could just be trading the markets, make a buckload of money, and just don't worry about anything else than our pina coladas at the beach. But, you know, I think that Bitcoin is going to be surprisingly resilient, in the sense that, you know, even 5 and 10 years from now, we still will be having Bitcoin, and this will be, and already is, gold 2.0, a better version of gold, a store of value. So I definitely see that persevering. I cannot say that, like, in the top 100 coin, even 70 or 80% will be in the top 100. If you look back at what was happening like just 3 years ago, you can see like the vast
Right.
majority of the coins have dropped out. So this is always the challenging part, to see the future. You know, it's inherently unpredictable. I think smart contracts are going to be here to stay, just like gold. Ethereum, to me, survives and thrives despite there having been so many Ethereum killers. I personally had my doubts whether NFTs are not indicative of a market up, just like, you know,
Sure.
prior to the Great Recession. You know, you
Right.
had the crazy Christie's and Sotheby's auctions,
Absolutely.
where we had the Picassos and the Leonardo da Vinci selling for hundreds of millions, and this was an indicative of, you know, of troubles in the economy, just this irrational exuberance. But, you know, we had the crash in NFTs, and then now it is rebounding and is recovering. So obviously there's going to be a place for that. You know, all the people that are saying, you know, crypto is this bubble, is this mania, it's the tulip mania all over again. Just, you know,
Right.
compare the charts. The tulips, once they collapsed, they never even, there wasn't even a dead cat bounce. It was like a straight going to zero. And, you know,
Good
with
point.
crypto, we have like every now and then declines of 70 and 80%, and it just always bounced back. So, you know, like a phoenix from its ashes. So I don't think we are, yes, there are mini bubbles within any bull cycle, but ultimately it's not a bubble. It's just real value that is going to entice a lot more people coming in.
Awesome. So I have a couple more topics that I want to touch on, but I think you just kind of were hinting at it there. And I want to see, I know you said you don't have your crystal ball handy with you at the Nexo HQ, but I mean, do you make predictions on Bitcoin or Ethereum? I think that a lot of our audience members have been dying to hear some of the predictions that the sources we've been talking to today do you have a 1 year price forecast for Bitcoin that you could give our audience?
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to see 100K during the next 12 months. I
Okay.
made this prediction prior to the crash, and then when we crashed in April, and everybody was teasing me about my prediction, and now we are en route to the new all-time high. So I maintain that position. Back then I said 18 to 12 to 18 months, and now, I think it's going to be in the next 12 months. I do have because in a bull market it's always easy to be bullish. But last year, in January, I was on Bloomberg with Matt Miller, and he asked me about my price prediction, and I said we're going to hit the 50K by the end of the year, and we were trading in, I think, around 8,000 at that time, and he was like, there's no way this is going to 5x. And I said, well, wait out. And he had me next January on, and he was like, okay, now everybody wants to hear your prediction. I kind of nailed this one. Not to toot my own horn here too much, but I do think we're going to see 100K if nothing really dramatic happens. And by really dramatic, I'm thinking, the G20 having a sit down and deciding that they should outlaw Bitcoin. I don't think that's a possibility anymore. The writings on the wall are pointing to something completely different. Yes, there's going to be regulation, and yes, there's going to have to step up. Everybody's going to have to step up their know your customer and anti-money laundering policies, but there's not going to be an outright ban of crypto. And this makes me even more bullish than I was before. Just this, what's called the Lindy effect. Something that has been around a long time is more likely to be around the same amount of time projected in the future.
Sure.
So, 100K in 12 months. That's my prediction for Bitcoin.
Awesome. Well, thank you for getting that out there. I know the audience loves to hear it. And the next thing that I did want to talk about, you just touched on right there, which is sort of bringing in regulators and regulation. I mean, what's a favorable outcome when we're considering cryptocurrency regulation? What's a not so favorable outcome? Give us a couple of scenarios, I think.
Well, the darkest possible scenario will be an outright ban on ownership of crypto. There's a Freudian slip right there.
Yeah,
Freudian slip.
Seems very unlikely, right, Anthony?
No, I don't think we're going that. But it has happened in the past. In the 30s, Americans were precluded from owning gold by a law which was around for a long time, so it's not out of the realm of possibilities. But I don't think that's wrong. That's like the really dark scenario. More likely, are we going to see the step up on compliance with applicable regulations as they exist for the banking sector? You got to know who your customer is, the ultimate beneficial owner if it's a company, where the sources. What the source of funds is, what the flow of funds is, and they have to substantiate, and not just, somebody wired me 100 Bitcoin, transferred me 100 Bitcoin. So this is more likely the route will go. This will bring up the cost for a lot of the smaller companies. So it does have its downside, but ultimately will clean up the space and, allow for this institutional adoption that we have been talking about. And just like best possible scenario is for entities and regulators such as the SEC, which took them a while to even take crypto seriously, and then what's a security and what's not a security, and how do these progressive innovative technologies fit within a framework of a set of laws, the security laws in the United States. They have been hammered out in the 1930s, so maybe, just maybe, they need to be adapted to the new reality so that entrepreneurs, companies, consumers, investors, and just about anyone can know with a high level of conviction and certainty what they can and cannot do, and what they should be doing in order to utilize this technology and maximize their profits from it in a way that is consistent with the regulatory framework, whatever that might be, because at times it is not entirely clear. So clarity will be our best case scenario.
And it sounds like clarity will absolutely be better for Nexo, right?
Absolutely. We have been compliant in our endeavors from day one. We're going through the troubles of securing the money transmission licenses and the credit licenses in the States, applying for banking licenses in Europe and elsewhere. I myself oversee the legal effort, and I know what a Herculean task this has been. We have 20 people in-house in Nexo, just handling legal and compliance. We have a bunch of different law firms across the globe that we work with in order to ensure that even without a lack of clarity, we still operate within the regimes as the regulator we presume would want. So, clarity is all we can ask for.
Excellent, excellent. And one more topic that I've been wanting to touch on, something that I've been, personally interested is the realm of sustainability when it comes to cryptocurrency and blockchain. I mean, how important do you think it is for Bitcoin miners and cryptocurrency heads to be thinking about sustainability when it comes to cryptocurrency?
Well, egoistically speaking, they can be like the bird that buries its head in the sand and pretends there are no problems around it. I probably can go on for a while, but if we want to have large institutions, investors, and these adoption that we have been talking about and institutionalization, we got to wake up to the realities of investing in the 21st century. And this is that the large funds who bring in the big bucks and the technology and the clients, they have a very large focus this past year on ESG, economically sound businesses. It's, a lot of them, it's not just talk, they are doing the walk as well. They're not even investing in fossil fuels, etc. So if you want to be on their radar, you have to clean up your act. But I don't know why Bitcoin and crypto get singled out. It's a matter of the sustainability of electricity, of energy production as such. That
Absolutely.
Bitcoin, it uses energy, but there are a lot of energy intensive industries and they don't get singled out. It's probably because, Bitcoin crypto worries some people higher up. I don't know. But, there are solutions to that. And, Ethereum is on their way to present a very good solution with Ethereum 2.0. We move from proof of work, which is the energy intensive model, to proof of stake, whereby owners and validators of the transaction, they stake their Ethereum, they vouch for the authenticity of the transactions, and we will see how that plays out. I'm quite excited about that because this will have all sorts of important implications. It's just the way the industry progresses from henceforth in an energy cleaner way.
Awesome. So you just touched on one there when you mentioned Ethereum 2.0, but I mean, any other developments, new technologies that you personally kind of have on your radar as far as, helping address sustainability in the crypto market? Anything you want to get on our audience's radar? Something that they should be looking out for the next year, let's say?
Yeah, with proof of work, which is one of the efficient models that ensures there's no tapering with the ledger and the transactions in the blockchain, it's always going to be a trade-off between convenience, sustainability, and security and ease of use. So when you are examining a technology or a product, just be aware that this is a multi-dimensional field. So it's not always black and white, and there are trade-offs to any solution. But Ethereum is the thing I am the most excited about, apart from Bitcoin. Because of one of the reasons being the staking mechanism that's coming with 2.0, and this built-in scarcity, which will be a byproduct from the staking and the burning mechanisms, has got me super excited, because one of the earlier critiques of Ethereum is that they can be printed at will, and will this not be just redoing the dollar model where the Federal Reserve gets to print as much as they like whenever they feel like printing it and you can do nothing about it. This is getting addressed with Ethereum 2.0 in a very, very ingenious way. So, you know, I would bring the audience attention to precisely that, to Ethereum post 2.0.
Gotcha. Awesome. This has been an awesome conversation, Anthony. I think, you know, something to just kind of reiterate here, your angle on kind of like impressing institutions and wanting to bring institutions into the market as the next step. I mean, it's a really excellent way to think about it, and I think you got a really smart perspective on this, Anthony.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and thank you for this conversation.
Yeah, Anthony Trenchev, he is a co-founder for Nexo. And let's see if we can get Spencer back here real quick. Maybe we got, I hadn't seen that we had any questions. Hey, Spence, did we have any questions for
the grand finale?
Yeah.
Do we have any questions? I'm going to the chat right now. I don't
I mean, we talked about a ton of stuff. So yeah. Oh, what'd you say, Anthony?
Everybody is off to partying somewhere. We were the grand finale, and then now they're happy to be off the hook.
That's it. All right, Brent, Anthony, guys, thank you both so much. This is a great way to end the conference. Thank you both.